Between PlayStation, Microsoft, and Nintendo, it's been an eventful week in gaming, and this video will be all about the September 2020 PlayStation 5 showcase. Now, I found that there were a lot of hits and some misses in that conference, so stay tuned for more content. And before I begin, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel for more similar content. Now, let's dive in. Mainly I'm going to be discussing 3 games in detail while mentioning the ones that I thought were particularly successful or unfortunate. Now, the first one that came along really was a little bit of a surprise to anybody who hasn't really been looking at the gaming news lately. Certainly it's been a surprise to me because I know that Square Enix has been hard at work with their Final Fantasy VII Remake, but they decided to announce Final Fantasy XVI. Now, right off the bat, they announced it as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And it involves a little boy named Joshua who seems to be able to just intrinsically summon a phoenix summon. But the main character seems to be his personal guard. Now, this Final Fantasy seems to be going right back to their roots. I saw Dragoon characters, much like the character of Kain in Final Fantasy IV, as well as a lot of discussion concerning crystals, spreading blight, and the fact that the crystals are no longer able to stop the blight from spreading. As far as the gameplay is concerned, it looks like they're really going for an action-oriented style. I even read later that some of the developers from the Devil May Cry series are working on the gameplay for this game. Now, that's definitely something to be said in its favor. However, by seeing the trailer, for me, I didn't personally connect with the characters or the story. I think the story was kept vague in order to talk about the summons and the gameplay, but it didn't really hit me the way that a lot of previous Final Fantasy announcements really got to my heart. I didn't really connect with a single character there. And on top of that, I really did feel like the graphic content really took a back seat, which is very, very unfortunate. One little detail that I really like about Final Fantasy games is actually the character design and the way that they animate the hair. It's stunningly gorgeous.
Wow.
For example, about 10 years ago, I was playing Final Fantasy XIII and just remarking at the fact that nobody does hair like Final Fantasy, and Lightning's hair was so perfect. However, with the Final Fantasy XVI preview, I noticed that quite a few characters looked like they just had a solid block of ramen noodles on their hair. So they definitely need more in order to capture my attention, and I don't feel that graphics-wise that it's really up to Final Fantasy standards. But of course, I'm going to wait and see if they happen to get better, or if this is just an early stage in development that they're going to build on from here. They also announced a brand new Harry Potter game called Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I'm actually not going to speak a lot on this, although it looks like an exciting game and a great opportunity to have an open world Harry Potter type of game. I'll only speak for myself in saying that really this is an unfortunate time to release a Harry Potter game. As genuinely sympathetic I am toward the developers who worked really hard to make this a reality, I think that this is not the time to contribute to loyalties to the messy mid-2000s author that is currently spewing hate speech all over the place. And on that vein, it's a hard pass for me. And there are definitely some games here that should be mentioned that I may not speak more on, but I think that they are worthy of speaking of. They just don't happen to fit my taste. These games include Spiderman, Miles Morales, which looks absolutely stunning. The action looks incredible. I just don't happen to love a lot of superhero games, but if that's your thing, that looks like such an exciting development and a great game to play when you get the PS5. I'd also be remiss in not mentioning Resident Evil 8 Village and Deathloop, which both look like really exciting games. May or may not hit my fancy. Resident Evil is the sort of flavor of horror that I don't usually go toward, but it looks like such an exciting and interesting game from the trailer that we saw there. This next one is an expansion that I wasn't even expecting to be as excited about as I am, and that is Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, right off the bat, you know that Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is going to be from Virgil's point of view. Now, I think that the gameplay in and of itself is enough to sell me that game. Note that before I go on, the trailer itself has a major spoiler for Devil May Cry 5, so if that's something that you don't want to hear right now, jump about 30 seconds or so into the video and you should be just fine. So the action on the part of Virgil as a playable character looks absolutely incredible. There are beautiful spinning attacks with the Yamato. You can drive the Yamato into your stomach to summon V and then fight with him, which is awesome for me because V is actually my favorite character to play in Devil May Cry 5. Now, this might even be different when Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition comes along because Virgil's playstyle looks so smooth. He can of course transform into his demon form, but he can also summon a spirit form of his demon to fight for him. Now that's going to be something that's really exciting to play. And did you hear the music? Yeah, Yesterday was the day that the audio for that song was released, and I legitimately listened to it all day long. It's that good. The last thing that may not be a guarantee, but something that I would love to see personally, are more dialogues and cutscenes for Virgil. I would love to see how the story plays out from his point of view. Now, I know that's impossible in some stages of the game. If you've played, you'll know what I mean, but I would love to just see more of Virgil's thought processes throughout the story. He's also available to play in Bloody Palace, Turbo Mode, and Legendary Dark Knight. I think overall this will be a great way to revisit, or visit for the first time if you've never played, Devil May Cry 5. Now moving on to the other game that I was also the most excited about, and that was Demon's Souls. So the trailer that played during the PS5 showcase was a gameplay trailer. So we got to see more insight about how the game will play out overall. Although I don't think it's realistic that the main character kept one-shotting his enemies, it's a good way of showing the overall playstyle, the fact that he can vault, the way he rolls, which is somewhat of a concern to me because I am a big proponent of omnidirectional rolling. That was one of the main detriments for me of playing Dark Souls 1, because I had just come out of it playing Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, where you could roll wherever you wanted to, and that was actually a key part of my playstyle. It's even a key part of my playstyle in Sekiro too, so it will be a hard adjustment to not do omnidirectional rolling. But in terms of the design, in this regards, both the visual design and the sound design looks absolutely stunning. I was amazed to hear everything from every footstep you made to the panting of your character. It was really luscious just to listen to it, and the visuals absolutely look gorgeous. So I'll do a small disclaimer in saying that I've never played Demon's Souls. I've played Dark Souls 1, 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro, so I've played a small handful of the From Software library. But Demon's Souls is one of the ones that I haven't played. By the time I got interested in it, I had just finished playing Dark Souls 1. And again, I was playing the entire series ass backward. So coming off of the really smooth gameplay style of its later games and then going into a very, very early iteration would have been a difficult adjustment for me. So I held off on it. However, being a person who is a first-time player of Demon's Souls, I can't be more excited for this re-release. Number one, we may have opportunities to play online. I did see either what looked like either notes or summon signs on the floor while your character passed by them, so having the opportunity to invade, get invaded, possibly do co-op and things like that are really, really exciting, especially by people who are veterans of the game and even other first-timers just like me. Now, Demon's Souls will be available at launch. Another exciting announcement that they made was that many games from the PS4 library will be immediately available to PS Plus members upon launch. So for example, games like Bloodborne and The Last of Us will be some games that appear there immediately. I think that's a great way to explore these excellent games just in case you missed it last time around. I wish that they had actually done that for the PS4 and released some of their PS3 classics to play pretty much for free on there. But then again, that could just be me wanting free stuff. That being said, it was unclear during the event whether or not the PS5 will be backwards compatible. And the last trailer that I wanted to discuss is the brand new God of War game, God of War Ragnarok, and that releases in 2021. We know very little about it at this point, but it's certainly a really exciting release. I've heard it been said that God of War 2018 is an absolute masterpiece and one of the best games that you can possibly play on the last generation. This actually is a great caveat into my next point. The system itself releases November 12th for certain countries and then November 19th for the remainder of the world. The digital edition will be $399 USD, while the version where you can actually physically buy the games and put in a disc will be $499 USD. And the games themselves will be $70. Now that's definitely a jump from the last generation of Sony games, but I do think, considering the technology, it's a natural progression. Now the big question is, will I be pre-ordering the system right away? And just by me asking that question, you know that I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I know that there was quite a big debacle in the beginning where people were having a lot of trouble ordering it, but that's not really the reason why I'm not ordering it right away. As of right now, I actually haven't played a single game that was released in 2020. I'm still trying to thin out my 2019 and earlier list. I've heard it being said that, hey, it's okay to let something rest. If you really want to play something new, just play it. That's a great point, but for me, I really like to finish things that I've started, especially if I really like it. Like for example, I'm not going to put Sekiro down for another 4 to 6 months like I did before because I really want to finish that. It's a game that I've been very passionate about lately, and leaving that hanging would just be sad, to be honest. The caveat that I mentioned earlier is one of the games that I haven't played yet from the previous generation is actually the 2018 God of War. That's one that I've been wanting to play for a very long time, but because of time constraints and other factors, it's something I haven't been able to dive into yet. That's something I'm very excited to dive into, so I do have plenty of life left in my PlayStation 4. Now on top of that, this is something personal, but I will go ahead and share it just in case there are people out there who identify and can relate. Due to events going on in the world right now, that due to the algorithm I won't name, I was laid off from my job. So being in this situation where I'm trying to find work and trying to scrape by with what I have, I don't think that it's financially responsible for me to go ahead and just drop $500 on a brand new system. And you know that I'm gonna buy the one where I can put in discs and play my Blu-rays and play my DVDs because that's just something I still have. I tend to be a little late to transition. Another perk to waiting a little bit to buy a brand new system is sometimes they have quirks in their launch models. For example, my first PS4 that I owned myself and didn't have to share with anybody was a very special PS4 that my friend sent me from Okinawa. Now, the journey from Okinawa must have been kind of difficult on the machine, so I took it to a repair shop when my HDMI cable stopped being able to work in it. And they told me that that's actually a very common problem with launch PS4 titles, and that oftentimes at launch the system isn't quite up to snuff with some of their later upgrades and later tweaks that they do to the machine to make it stronger. So it's actually very typical of me to wait at least 6 months, if not about a full year, before I purchase a brand new system. Now, of course, I'm really excited to play Demon's Souls, and when I can, I will be buying the PS5 for that reason and many others. However, it's just not going to be now, and for now, I'm just going to be really excited to keep chipping away at the games that I currently have. Now, going on to overall thoughts, I thought that the games that they really highlighted at this event looked very exciting and definitely a great reason to pre-order your PS5 if that's something that you choose to do. Between the new God of War, the Demon's Souls remake, Devil May Cry 5, Spiderman Miles Morales, and others, there's an excellent lineup to explore. However, one big critique from not only me but other people that I've seen in the gaming community on this event is that it wasn't quite as organized as it could have been. It was unclear as to the release dates of some of these games, so it left some people with more questions than there were answers. The entire event felt like an expanded version of their Future of Gaming event from June 2020. Now, what did you guys think of the PS5 showcase? I'd love to know what games that you're most excited about. Feel free to let me know in the comments section. Now, I'll also make a mini announcement here that I am going to go forward with my Halloween series as usual. Although I know this year people will not be attending events for Halloween, there's definitely still plenty of reasons to dress up, enjoy the season, and have fun. So I am going to do at least one makeup video, at least one wig video, and I'm going to make a very special video about how you can enjoy dressing up and be able to take your own pictures even if you have a very small space and can't go to an event at this time. Because of what's going on in the world, I know that we aren't going to events the way that we used to, but if you have costumes that you want to wear for Halloween or things that you've made for cosplay reasons, there's definitely still ways to get it out there and take really brilliant and beautiful pictures, even if you have a limited space or a limited budget. I'm going to be happy to tell you about how I do full-on studio quality photo shoots in a tiny corner of my room. Expect those videos to start coming between early and mid-October. I know that's a big departure from my normal content, but at the same time, it's something that I love to share and I like to be able to teach. I've been cosplaying for 18 years now, so me being able to give back and share some information to people who are newer at it or just want new insights is really exciting, and it's something that I look forward to every year. I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay good to each other, stay safe, and have a great one. Bye. Alright. Oh, of course I spill. Because I had come out of it having just played Bloodborne and Devil May Cry. That was one of the main detriments for me because I played the series backward and I played Devil May Cry. Now going on to overall Going into overall belch.